Welcome back, folks. This is the Friendship Podcast. Unfortunately, there is no guest for us today, so this is going to be a little bit more boring podcast than it could be. But here we are, and we're three friends, and this is a podcast. Kluber, what's up?
Three friends, and this is a podcast. It's fucking 400 and almost 30 episodes of this, by the way.
Can't believe it.
I don't think in the beginning, if you asked us, we would have gotten to
50.
Truly. Do you have any recollection of either of you two back when we had this idea? What your outlook on it was for longevity?
I remember we stopped recording after the first season, which would have been the 2018 season.
Yeah.
I think we were probably 12 episodes in, and I figured that was like, you know what? That's probably it.
You thought that was it?
We took a nice long break, and I didn't think we were ever coming back.
I didn't think it was that long.
It was a couple months at least.
No, it was.
I thought at least a couple months.
I thought it was just a month, but maybe it was longer than I thought.
That first off season, we were like, we have nothing to talk about, so what are we gonna? Why even record? Now we just fill it with this bullshit banter that we have going on.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like we've gotten better at the bullshit banter, though. That part of it.
It is a skill. And it needs to be exercised to get better at it. Yeah.
If I didn't have this, Drake, do you have any thoughts on that? You remember anything? You probably don't remember past like 2 or 3 years.
I still don't want to be here.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't even think I had thoughts about it. I just was like, I think this whole time it's just been a thing of like, all right, well, we'll see what happens next time. Still, 430 episodes. Maybe you never know. Sunday comes around, maybe the whole thing shuts down. You're rocking a bro tank today, Kev.
I am, man. It's getting a little toasty around Iowa.
It's hot
this time of year. Yeah,
I know, and I know we can't really say that because Drake's sitting over there in fucking. I mean, it was probably 100 degrees today in Arizona already. 110.
It's way worse in Iowa.
It's thick.
I mean, it was 90 in eastern Iowa today, man. I don't know. It's not exactly cold.
Well, it's hot. It's so hot and it's so thick.
Just like the loads you get on your chest.
Interesting. I am not the one right now that is.
Don't even go there.
Okay.
Know exactly what you're about to say.
We got to see each other this weekend. First time since Big Ten championship, I believe.
That all three of us together, yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? I didn't miss you.
Why? Why you like that?
I don't know. You're just fucking bald and.
Did you miss Kevin?
Yeah, I missed Kevin.
Good answer. Good answer. Otherwise, I was gonna Venmo you for your stay.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have probably been like shit. Probably like maybe $150 a night, $200 a night by 3. Yeah. That would have been expensive.
Yeah,
it's still cheaper than the hotel, though.
It is cheaper than the hotel.
Yeah.
Lord knows I'm looking for a bargain.
Well, after you're paying your water bill, then yeah, you're gonna need a bargain.
Dude, I'm so cash broke. It's like actually I'm getting a job.
What does Drake Kulik, in a world that he needs to get a job, go do for some cash?
Personal security.
I was gonna say the only thing is private security.
Are you good enough to where you can coach like jiu-jitsu, MMA yet, you think? Or at least work
for sure I could coach kids classes. They don't usually ask. I've seen a lot of blue belts teaching kids classes. So like if I was just choked for money, but no, if I'm not somebody's bodyguard, then I'm probably blowing some dude for $50 or something.
And with that, we bring in the fourth member of the Washington Walk-Ons, at least currently, Grant from Denver. What do we think about Drake blowing other guys for $50?
As long if Drake's happy with his work, I have no problems. But I hope that hey, maybe
promise you
instead
they'll be happy
people,
with my
if you
work.
subscribe to the Patreon, maybe Drake doesn't need to do that.
That's true. That's
All-
true. We have
all
this
out.
other
Yeah.
we have this other avenue. Speaking
Let
of
me
the
just
Patreon,
pull up Drake's Venmo here if anyone is interested in said offer.
Drake _ Kulik.
I believe that is what it is. Yes.
Is it actually?
There's
All right,
only
well-
one Drake Kulik, dude. You guys have known that.
Is there any other Drake Kuliks?
No,
in
it's
the
just
world?
great. Drake Kulik, no underscore. All
Okay.
one word.
We've talked about how there's another. I think this was a really long time ago, but Kevin Ward, most common name of the three of us. Mine probably second. Drake probably third. There is another Tyler Kluver out there. There are two Tyler Kluvers on Earth, and he's a fat redhead. It's
If
unfortunate.
there's another Drake Kulik, then we need to have a
There
drink.
is. There's a guy in Alabama.
That's actually a really, really good callback right there.
Yeah, Drake actually lives in Bama. He's a Roll Tide fan. And
This is the imposter Drake Kulik that we have with us.
yeah.
For reasons that we're not going to disclose, he had to steal somebody else's identity as a child because some documentation issues. So we actually have the imposter. The real Drake Kulik is actually down in Alabama.
Did you ever resolve that?
Nah.
For those that are confused, when Drake took his 3-week trip across the western side of the country with in a van with his dogs and girl, he got pulled over one
And
night.
now I have a warrant in Montana, by the way.
You didn't pay your ticket, did you?
Come on, Kevin. You know me, dog. Fuck the government.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Drake,
You can't do that.
it was probably like an $80 ticket, dude.
Fuck no, it was a $170 ticket.
I hope you enjoyed your one time in Yellowstone because you're not going back.
Says you.
That's the most Drake. I mean, that's how we're gonna lose Drake from the podcast. It's not gonna be by some imminent death. It's not gonna be by him freaking out and killing somebody. It's going to be, in 5 to 10 years as we run this thing along and just choke it for everything it's worth. Drake is going to eventually get some sort of warrant out in all states where he just can't run anymore. He has to. I mean, you're going to have to go off to the Dominican or Mexico, which is honestly where you belong. I mean, cartel kid. We did a DHT on that. It's a good DHT. In fact, Drake has adopted a cartel look for most DHTs these days.
You can't tell me that of all the white dudes I'm not the most likely to succeed with the cartel.
What's that movie? It's like based on real life. Was like
The Mule?
No. You're like 60 years away from being the mule.
Yeah,
White
but
Boy Rick. White
I
Boy
will be
Rick.
stuffing drugs in my butt when I'm old.
Out of all the white guys I know, I do come from Marshalltown, right? So there's a couple white dudes from Marshalltown that
They ain't built like me.
You're right. Physically, they don't have the
Mentally. Kids coming from Marshalltown, they're something in the water up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. What do you got pulled up? You got White Boy Rick pulled up there, Grant? White Boy Rick. The story of a teenager, Richard Worshey Jr., who became an undercover informant for the FBI during the 1980s and was ultimately arrested for drug trafficking and sentenced to life in prison. Yeah. You know what? That's a good call, Kev.
That is.
Yeah, wait, no, this is
Oh, dude. And it's
It's a McConaughey,
a McConaughey special.
and you look exactly like him.
I'm when I dress up to go anywhere, I'm full John Wick. That's like the dress up persona that I've adopted is I'm just black suit, black everything, John Wick style. But I may have to start jacking some of Mathew McConaughey's looks because, if we're being honest, who's better than McConaughey?
Nobody hitting green lights, but you know who does give you a run for your money in looking like him? Recent guest of the show, Riley Moss.
Yeah,
If Riley gets the mustache, Riley keeps the mustache and gets that lathery mullet going.
If Riley Moss plays corner in the NFL with a mustache and a mullet, he goes to the Hall of Fame immediately.
Doesn't even matter his stats.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
Riley out in the NFL playing corner, we already know the physical limitations of certain individuals.
Pigments.
It's
hard. You know what? It's really
overcoming that obstacle is Hall of Fame worthy.
It's really hard to be a great corner when you're a lunch pail guy, you know? When you're first in, last out, tough to be a corner.
Not a whole lot of coaches' sons playing corner.
Facts. I've never met a coach's son who plays corner.
Not a lot of
Met a lot of coaches' sons that play quarter. Not a lot of corners.
If you're sneaky athletic, dude, look at this guy.
All time. When you
He's in the
show to an interview after an All-American season looking like that, you're just automatically everybody's favorite player. He looks like he just got out of prison.
He looks like he just got out of prison or came from the Riverside Bridge where he sleeps, and he's on drugs as they're interviewing him. Is some guy holding? Oh, that's a phone.
There's for sure been, like, I've passed this dude at the 7-Eleven in downtown Nashville multiple times asking me for change.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he just signed a pretty dang good contract. So I don't know why you would need money.
for fun. Just going out begging for fun, just seeing how much he could get, probably.
Yeah.
There's a day coming up when it's not real hot out that I'm gonna go panhandle and just see what I can do.
That would be interesting, right?
We'll do it for Patreon content.
What sign are you going to use?
Should we do it in Nashville?
Suck dick for money. We'll suck dick for money.
If we do it in Nashville, we could get some vlog content.
In
fact, right now I've been meaning to do it, but right now I'm recording on the camera of just me from the side because I want to test how the audio going from our soundboard directly into the camera is. So we're going to have, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this video, but it's just going to be for playback so that when we get to Nashville and we set up this camera, we look like we know what we're fucking doing. It would be interesting, right? And then you could kind of test subject that where, like, do you dress differently, put the hair up one day, see how much you could get, and what gets you the most, what gets you the least. Be a fun game to play. Speaking of the Patreon, where Drake is going to be doing all these things for money. How did that come up? Why did Kevin mention a water bill? Do you have a crazy water bill?
Oh, you didn't hear this, dude?
No.
So we got some nice grass put in the backyard, and you have to overwater it to make the sod take. And I got my water. I got my water bill. It was $450
for the month.
For the month.
It's not good. It's not great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like what I spend on food a month.
Mm-hmm. No, when I opened that bill, I immediately felt like I got shot.
I hope the grass at least took. It looks good.
Oh, the grass took nicely, man. It's working.
Better.
What is a monthly water bill going to look like just to keep the grass down there, though?
150.
Oof, still not good, boys.
No.
That is tough, but I hope at least Bane and Milo will love it.
They do love it.
That's good.
Bane,
Shit somewhere.
the water bill itself is almost worth. I guess I should reword this. How much Bane loves the sprinklers is almost worth the water bill in itself, because he gets so much enjoyment out of playing in the sprinklers every night that like it's almost worth it for me, because I love watching him have fun, but it still hurts.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so we are gonna have to figure out a bunch of Patreon stuff. Speaking of the Patreon,
for real, I'm going broke, and I'm gonna start doing like OnlyFans shit on Patreon, and you guys are just gonna have to start paying me. We're just gonna have a Drake pulls his dick out tier, and all that money's gotta go to me so I can afford my bills.
That's just the name of it. Drake pulls his dick out tier. So it's funny you say OnlyFans. Well, I mean, we've made that joke a million times here.
Yeah.
But
come on, it's a Wash Up Walk-Ons podcast.
No, I know, but so you guys know like what a link tree is, right? Like it allows you to put all your shit in one page. So I made us a Washed Up Walk-Ons one and made that the link on our social media pages. And actually, Grant, would you pull that up for me? I'll just show you guys. Just pull up the old link tree. To try and draw in some people who may click on that link, right? I decided to be funny with it. So, if you want, you can go to our link tree, and down at the bottom you can find the Walk on OnlyFans.
I love that.
Click on that for me, Grant. So, obviously we don't have an OnlyFans. It is actually the little image on the side is a picture of me and Kevin holding up the flag, by the way. It's obviously not an OnlyFans. It takes you to our Patreon. However, if you are not subscribed to the Patreon and you are interested in subscribing to the Patreon, just this week, Patreon rolled out a free trial feature. And I don't know why you wouldn't have, why you wouldn't take a chance if you've ever been interested in, first of all, giving to the kids, but crazy additional merch discounts that pay for the subscription, an extra podcast every week, more shows probably coming. We talk about them all the time, but they are going to come. I that sounded weird. Pause. But I think we really should work on that Bo Bauer show as the first one. Shout out to Bo, by the way.
Bo's busy right now. We'll just
Bo,
leave it at that.
He has his hands full. Truly, Bo elevated to another level. Let's just say that. He hit his full form. But you can go right now to patreon.com/washedupwalkons or to that link in our bio on Instagram or Twitter, probably I think Facebook as well. And you can click on the Walk-Ons OnlyFans. It'll take you to the Patreon site, and you can do a 1-week free trial, which means you get access to all of those things. You get access to the merch discount, which you could then go and use for free during, as you can see right there, the $8 a month and the $12 a month, free for 7 days. Sign up right now. It's no strings attached for 7 days. See if you like it. You can go back and listen to all 70 DHTs in the week that you get for free if you wanted to. Be impressive, but you could. Which, by the way, Drake, you got some compliments on the one yesterday. I guess you had to go solo for a little bit as Grant is trying to figure out Starlink internet.
I've never seen somebody's internet try and sabotage them as bad as G-Bone's family internet yesterday, dude.
That's tough.
That internet tried to sabotage me in a way that it was almost offensive, but I held it together for the team.
I got at least so far 2 comments. It's been live for like a day. I've got 2 comments that somebody said in the Discord that that was like an all-time episode. That's what they've been waiting for, is a Drake solo, and that you killed it. And then another one that said, there was a comment like on the Patreon post and said, "Don't worry, Drake, like you were made for this, like that you did good," or something like that. So
the kid can riff. What's up, dude?
Now,
if you just give me one of them bullet point deals, like probably like D'Elia and Bill Burr and them boys have, I might be able to put together an episode.
Well, maybe we'll have to turn that into something. This podcast, clearly not a guest episode, not a ton of primary topics here. We're going to be getting into some questions. Glad we could get that Patreon stuff out of the way. The next thing, quickly, before we get into questions that I want to get out of the way, is for a future episode. We have been asked multiple times by people in the Discord, people on Twitter, bring on the women of the walk-ons, right? The three of us, well, one of us is married, one of us is engaged, and one of us has a girlfriend. We all have a significant other in our life. People, for some reason, are interested in their perspective of us in this show, trying to learn more about us, really trying to dig the dirt. First of all, the three of our women, they don't have a whole lot of interest in coming on this podcast. But I think we have gotten them to at least agree to, if we can put together a little class printout, a little homework assignment of like 10 to 15 questions that they can answer. They'll give their answers. And then I think it would be maybe comical for Grant to then read those back on the show and us discuss them. I think it might provide as some good content. It allows us to maybe execute on this idea that you guys are asking for. So if you guys have questions that you would like our significant others to answer, send them in to the walk-on or my personal Twitter account. We will collect those, get the best like 10 or 12 or so, and put them down, have them answer, and we'll read them back for an episode. It'll turn into a little fun episode. As an example, one of the questions that was asked in the Discord when I posed this to the walk-on army was like, how have you seen your significant other, Drake, Tyler, or Kevin, change since meeting them, and how has their relationship with football evolved since then, or something along the lines, right? I don't think this is a forum for you to get on and probably ask about the size of our meat, right? That's probably not going to get answered. It's going to get sifted through. But if you have legitimate questions,
You got to go to the walk-on OnlyFans for that.
that is right. You'll get to see the meat when Drake gets real. He brings back up the picture. Oh, Grant, adding you to this show is maybe the best thing we've ever done. Not maybe, 100%. So please send in some questions for the women of the walk-ons. We will do an entire episode of that. And with that, the first topic of the meat of this episode is George Kittle, who we are going to see.
It's funny you use the word meat.
Nice little segue there.
It's a great segue. Now, unintentional as well. Maybe after 430 episodes of this thing, you just kind of fall into that. For those that live under a rock, George dropped probably the best hype video teaser for a product collaboration that has ever been made. George announced, I think earlier this year, maybe even last year, that he's sponsored by Chubbies. And then several months ago had hinted at the fact that he was going to have his signature line of Chubbies coming out at a later date. Chubbies, by the way, are I'm not even sure how they would describe themselves. I have a pair of Chubby swim trunks. I think they just sell shorts as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like a high.
They also sell shirts because George wore
it's like a high quality kind of leisure clothing and swim trunks. Fantastic swim trunks, by the way. I don't know if you guys have a pair or not.
I don't.
Well,
No, sir. I prefer to bathe in the nude.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. Another thing for the Patreon. Pull that up, Grant. I don't know if it'll play or not on your shit internet. Let's just take a listen here.
Hey, I'm George Kittle, the people's tight end. The guys over at Chubbies asked me to release a teaser video to get people hyped about my upcoming collection with them, but they said I absolutely cannot wear the clothing. So here I am, promoting the clothing without wearing the clothing. Hey, I'm George Kittle, the people's tight end.
There was a second part to that, but
There was some extended part to that. I think that was just the first.
I'll try and find it. I thought that was.
No, you're good. I think they got the gist there.
Just dropping dong on the.
I mean, he did not have anything on in that clip.
and I have word from a reliable source that George and Claire may not have been the only two people in that room that day.
Well, I'd expect not.
There had to be at least one that was running the camera.
Well, it could have been Claire. Theoretically, Chubbie could have said, "Hey, Claire, you want to run the camera for us on this one?"
How?
And that just simply was not the case.
No,
you imagine-
I don't. No, I'm not
here we
surprised that that's not the case.
Here we go. Play this.
I don't know. I guess I don't want anyone to see my designs until they drop in June. Doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me, but supposedly they're the marketing experts. Anywho, it's a super limited drop, and I'm gonna be buying a bunch for me and all my buddies. So sign up below to get alerts on all the drip. I mean drop.
Not much to say on that one.
George ain't never been a shy guy though, has he?
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If a company that big wanted to put a high quality production together where you had to show your cock, the three of us have a smaller price than George.
Dude, I'd duct tape a hot dog to the end of it and I'd helicopter it around
For free.
for
I mean, Drake's talking about blowing guys for $50 right
He
now.
said
he
everything's-
drops foul in front of a camera for about
Drake
10
is a one price man. Everything is just $50. I
$50
quite honestly,
gets you an hour of bodyguarding. Get you some sloppy top and a drop trout.
jiu-jitsu
One
lesson.
price top.
The jiu-jitsu lessons are more expensive. I'm not giving that information away for free.
Okay. This is spot on, George. And we got a lot of people asking, hey, give us your thoughts on the old Kittle Chubbies ad. It could not be more, George. In fact, I realize he's a guy. He's got time. He doesn't want to fill his time with just advertisements and promos with all these different brands and companies that he works with. But when I think about George, this is essentially what I think about. I mean,
His chubby?
yeah, that right there, just a pineapple in front of his dick, being videotaped for the world to see.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
This is a really crazy advertisement that I was not expecting to see. It's pretty tremendous. But
The marketing team who came up with that one, bravo. And two,
I'm honestly curious. Like, did they pitch that to George, or did George pitch that to them?
well, what I do know is whoever pitched it to who, when they gave the script and the call sheet for filming day, and the camera crew figured out like this is what we're doing, they were certainly surprised. I know that. It's like, okay, George walks in naked, legitimately naked. They're like, all right, well, we're filming the people's tight end's dick today. That's just what we're doing. That's our job assignment today. What a job do we have? You know, it's a fantastic,
Drake, you might be able to answer this. Did that look like George's house, or is he just spreading his bare cheeks on somebody else's couch?
That is the Rancho del Kittle kitchen.
Okay.
Love that. Love that.
And that's the couch that I am no longer going to sit on.
Yeah, we got to. Hey, Grant, write this down. None of us.
Nobody takes the middle seat on the couch facing the TV.
If we podcast with George from this couch, this happens to be the location.
That's your seat, Kluber.
He has to. No. George sits there, or I'll sit there. I don't care. That would be.
I hope that we do the podcast upstairs. It is
in the barn.
No, there's a landing in his house. It's kind of, you go up the stairs, and then there's almost like a second living room on the upstairs, and they have this shit, call it 10 by 8 by 6 foot multicolored bear painting that is just phenomenal. That would be a good backdrop for the podcast.
Hell yeah. And it would, well, and the other thing about that is if it's in the upstairs of his house, it kind of be out of the way. I don't want to be in the way. Right. And, hopefully we're able to like pull TJ up there and Rob Ton up there. It's going to be a lot of recording and a lot of annoying these people who are giving us their time. But that's just the way this is. Fuck, that happens in 2.5 weeks. I'm psyched, dude. Grant hasn't come down off of this for, I think, 2 months since we started talking about the trip.
G-Bone, come in here.
Yeah, why are you not in here, Grant? What the fuck are you doing?
Feel real yet that it's going to happen?
What? I didn't hear you.
Does it feel real yet that it's going to happen?
I don't know.
I feel like a
we'll
pipe
see.
dream still.
We'll see when we get there. I'll probably it'll probably feel more real when we get there.
Have you been to Nashville before?
I've been to the airport layover, but haven't left like Terminal C.
That's as far as I've gone as well. I've never been in Nashville.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll try and give you guys a good experience.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it though. Seriously, it'll be really cool.
We're starting our trip with Hattie B's. So hard.
Get hot.
Yeah.
What time you get in, Kevin? When do you
I've
get in?
not booked a flight yet, but as of today, I can with a 95% certainty say that I will be there at least one day.
Let's fucking go, Kev.
It's pretty good.
It's what the people want. Now, I got to make sure I bring an extra mic. We got to talk about that, by the way, because I think I only have 3 of the mics I want to use. I think one of you might have like your secondary mic that we put away.
Snowball?
No, we don't want that one. It's one that looks like a yes. What does that say on the side of it? It says Samson.
Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah. I want you to bring that when you come.
Why can't I bring my little deal right here? This thing's a pretty good mic, ain't it?
You should bring that.
Yes, sir, Grant. I will.
Bring it.
You gotta get the mics that like just clip onto your shirt and you can just have a normal
Lavalier
conversation.
mics.
Oh, yeah, of course the CEO's got them. Doesn't want to give them to anyone else though.
Nice. Well,
Plan for these would actually be to like if Josh Allen runs by and I can just like fucking put it on his shirt real quick, unknowingly mic him up for while he's throwing to the tight ends.
Be sick.
Yeah. That makes me real excited, Kevin. Dare I say, haven't used this one in a while. That gets me fully tented.
Fully tented. Drake, did you tell Kaylee's fully tented story on here before?
yeah, I did. How she showed up to the bar with fully tinted on, had no idea what it was.
Gave me a good old chuckle.
So, the last thing about that George Chubbies ad, he says he's going to be buying his buddies a bunch of pairs. And Drake is clearly much more of a friend and close confidant of George than Kevin and I are. But Kevin and I are in a Clash of Clans squad with him. Feel like that's close enough.
It means
especially
something, man.
Especially when he doesn't have to actually buy them. They'll send him as many pairs as he wants. So
George got a lot of friends, though. Very friendly guy. Knows a lot of people. If they send him 100 things, I don't know if we're in that top 100, boys.
Me and you, probably not. Not top 100.
No.
If I'm not in the top 100, my feelings will be
I
hurt.
would say, Drake, you're probably in the top 100. Incredible stuff, George. We can't wait to see you. Very excited to be in Nashville. Next question was, and now these kind of just get random, but we can kind of go off on a tangent here. Somebody asked what the top 3 episodes ever, listens wise, of this podcast are. And I think we have to preface this quickly because the top 2, by far and away, I'm talking 2, 3, 5 times the amount of the next best, like 3rd and 4th on the list, are episode 123, which was our first episode back after the racial stuff, and episode 125, which was when we had Lomax and Daniels on 2 podcasts later. Those both have upwards of like 50,000 downloads per episode, which is really good. So we're not going to count those. The next 3 are, and these are there's a little bit of bias here because they've been around the longest. So they've had time for people to go back and find them. Episode number 13 with James Daniels. At the time I put this list together, which was a couple months ago, that was up in like the 15, 16,000 range. Episode number 15 with Chubbie Kittle, probably 14,000. And then episode number 37, our first episode with Josie Jewell. So James Daniels, George Kittle, Josie Jewell. They bring the numbies. And then Big E, number 258, up there as well. Shitload of listens.
Big shout out to that stallion.
Rounding out the top 10 would be 288 with Jack Kerner, 300 with Stanzi, 272 with Tavon Smith. That one capitalized heavy on the momentum that we had going into that Big Ten championship. Because if you guys remember, we did that like short notice right before that weekend. Shotsky, number 283. Kyler, that greasy mofo. LaShawn Daniels, number 260. Casper, number 231. And then rounding out the top 10 is Fat Anger, number 38.
How about our man Kyler Shot out there in the top 10?
Dude.
Like everyone else on that list, like, yeah, tracks, makes sense. Sure.
Kyler
Shooter shoots.
Shooter shoots, man.
Baby.
He fucking scores.
What a guy.
So those are our top episodes. Obviously, all guest episodes.
What happened to the Paulsons?
Dude,
I'm
I
surprised
thought
Paulson's episode number 1 is not in the top 10.
I thought the same thing, but
That one got a tremendous amount of feedback.
by downloads, the Paulsons comes in 6 spots below at number 16. Number 88, episode 88, the Paulson Twins original episode. In between that, Zach Johnson at 11th. First episode with Dolph at 12th.
Love the episode with Dolph.
Bohannon at 13th. The first Jake Gervais episode at 14th. And then the second Gary Dolphin episode at 15th.
What is the top listened to show that we have without a guest? Do people just not give a shit if we don't have a guest?
I
wouldn't.
not. It's probably episode 1, if I'm going to guess. Just
God, what a terrible
because
episode.
I can pull up the stats real quick. Let me, it was a terrible episode, but like so many people are like, okay, what's this podcast about? Let's go back and find it. So those are our top episodes. Very interesting. People are missing out if Paulsons don't even make the top 15. Episode 88, though, they got to go all the way back and find it. That's tough. So this is where you see Greenway's not even top 20. I mean,
Greenway's an awesome episode.
Such a good
He had
episode.
some awesome stories in that.
That's easily a top 10, maybe a top 5 for me. But it was episode 100. We've gained a lot of listeners since then that haven't taken the time to scroll back through.
That's true.
So if you're listening to these, go back and find some of these boys. Wiescamp's up there, rounding out the top 20. Worfsy.
What's the next question?
The next question was, we've talked about this before. Someone asked a while back if we were there while DJ Hernandez was there. It got brought up. It got brought up in a DHT, I think, and Drake and I were like, yeah, there was DJ was basically known for one thing. How long was he there for? The first season?
I think he was there 2 seasons.
He was not there in 15, so it would have been
not there 15.
So DJ, young guy trying to cut his teeth in the coaching world. All of this shit happens with his brother. Basically, the one thing I remember from DJ was when the shit went down with Aaron. Gone forever. That's a fucking meme. That's the guy on the baseball field. If you don't understand that callback, then you suck. Okay, you just suck. Hitting dingers.
Going forever.
Fee, fi, fo, fuck you. It's one of the best videos. We had a team meeting. It was just a randomly call. Team meetings are scheduled, right? So you kind of know when they happen throughout the week. So you get a text or an update on our iPad or whatever at the time of like, hey, team meeting 4:30. I don't remember when it was. Everybody in the team room. And then DJ stands up and he starts talking. And he basically lays out like he was basically addressing the elephant in the room as all that shit was going on. Talking about, I just remember him saying like, I knew that Aaron was going to get himself in trouble. Yeah, bring that up, Grant, please.
I think this was during camp because he had gotten arrested like a month before that.
Yeah. And he told the story of, it was wild. He told the story of Aaron calling him right like that night or something about like he was like, Aaron called me. It was wild to sit there and listen to him recount his side of things. And then what happened to DJ was he basically got caught up. I mean, Aaron Hernandez arrested, pro football tight end, yada yada. And then DJ got roped in with that. And, he's his brother. I think it was hard for him to get a job in the coaching world after that. He ended up changing his name and moving to Texas and starting a construction company. And then just recently was in the news again because he threw a brick through ESPN's headquarter window.
Oh, shit. I forgot I saw that.
That said something like, stop tormenting our family or something, with like recounting the story or what. I'm not sure. Can you bring that up? Yeah. DJ Hernandez, brother of Aaron Hernandez, accused of throwing brick at ESPN. Let me see. To all media outlets, it's about time you realize the effect media has on all family members. Since you're the worldwide leader, maybe you could lead how media and messages are delivered brick by brick. Clean it up, the police report says. It was signed, yours truly, Dennis J. Hernandez. Hey.
Said it with his chest.
Hey, like if you're
The
gonna
thing I'm confused by is like I've not seen anything about Aaron Hernandez in the news in the last 7 years.
I haven't either, but
not since he left us.
You think that's how he spelled realize on the actual note?
I saw that and I was like, I'm not sure. Signed it with his name. Something Drake would do.
Yours truly too. Classy.
Yeah.
I was literally about to, I said, but my mic was muted, that I can't hate on the guy. I almost have to give him some respect for saying like, hey, keep my family's name out of your fucking mouth.
Like Kevin.
But again, like
right.
That story's been dead for years. Why now? Right?
No pun intended.
Yeah. No. Hey, nice.
Jesus.
Nice. That story's been gone forever for years. You got to think though with him, any little mention, he sees one little thing of like, oh, it's the anniversary of whatever. Everything gets back to him, and he's probably so like when something that traumatic, crazy happens in your family, any little thing probably just sets you off. And quite honestly, it's probably not good for the mental health. So who knows where he's at with his head?
Honestly, it would have made more sense to throw it at Netflix's headquarters because they came out with that Hernandez
documentary where his high school quarterback was saying that they were gay or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, yeah, he gave us one hell of a speech. The next question was, do you guys think Cooper DeJean swims in pussy because he went to OBGYN high school or because he is him?
I think we're going to plead the fifth on this one and say that he's a faithful man. He has a lady and, Coop's just out there doing faithful things.
He is him, though.
He is.
Him and Neutron.
I saw something today that Jimmy Buckets signed or filed a trademark for Himmy Buckets. And
I like it.
And he's going to start a merch line and something like that. So Cooper DeJean is him. That's a great callback by the question asker on the OBGYN high school. That's a really clever question. I would imagine that he is a faithful guy. Seems like a pretty stand-up dude. If Cooper was single, he might have to hire Drake with his NIL money as security in Iowa City. I do believe that would be the case. So
he'd have to pay me so heavily to just come back and live in Iowa City.
Yeah, which is even more crazy. That's how we know that Bo's a real friend for you, is he got you to come back to Iowa for 3 days. No less.
Would you have done if I said, no, you have to stay in the camp hotel?
Yeah, he would
You
have.
cannot stay with me.
I may have thought about trying to be homeless for 3 days instead of staying in that fucking place.
He would have been out on the corner with the Patreon X stuff. If you were the head coach at Iowa, which, by the way, I asked LeVar at the wedding, and Drake was there for confirmation of this.
Confirmation.
He said he was walking away, he was leaving, and I said, Coach, when you're the head coach, will you give the walk-ons?
No. You didn't ask. You said we want full access.
You're right. When you're the head coach, the walk-ons want full access. And he said, you got it.
Oopsies.
That is not a lie. That actually happened. But
I'm going to take advantage of all of that training table.
Facts. The three of us are just in the corner eating, which, by the way, Gray's catered. Oh. If you were the head coach, what former teammates would be on your staff? OC, DC, position coaches, etc. It's a good question. What are some of our if I'm coach,
guys we played with, or
I would assume our team
in general.
Our teammates, guys that were there from 13 to 17. Kevin is at minimum a defensive position coach, probably my DC.
Kevin's your DC?
Fuck yeah.
What about James Morris?
Okay.
He's one of the smartest dudes we've ever known, and he's a 4-year starter.
Okay, Kevin, you just got demoted. You're the linebackers coach.
Which is a great
Josie Jewell.
No.
No, I don't want Josie coach. No, Josie's not a coach.
Yeah, James would be a great choice for DC. I'm trying to think who else.
Lomax would be a good coach.
Lomax would, but I think you want someone with the front seven, honestly. A linebacker is good because you have good understanding of coverage and pattern match principles, but you also have a lot of good understanding of how the front moves.
Are you still talking about DC right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now, obviously, you can learn anything, right? You know, Seth Wallace played receiver in college.
Got to see Wally this weekend. He's
a phenomenal linebackers coach, and you know,
number one in the country.
Him and Phil basically run the defense together nowadays.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Lomax definitely. I'm going to give Lomax the DB job.
Okay.
Feels pretty good.
Yep. Morris is going to be the DC.
Okay.
D-line.
I like that. I concur. D-line. I was thinking line too.
I got one answer.
Drew Ott.
You're goddamn right.
I was thinking that's the first name that came to mind too. Nate Meyer came to mind just to have some.
Not Nate. No, Jesus.
Dude,
not no Nate.
Give
Meyer.
me gritty Nate Meyer. Just
Nate Meyer is at the
Nate Meyer to teach the kids not to know shit.
Yeah. Hey, they're gonna have great motors though.
Just go get the guy with the ball.
Yeah. We're gonna play hard.
Take the guy with the ball.
We're gonna play hard.
Parker Hesse could be a good D-line coach, I feel like.
Yeah. Give me Matt Nelson.
He's
smart,
a very smart dude, yeah.
Smart guy. I don't know if he'd coach well, but it doesn't always translate.
I'm still taking Drew.
Drew.
Drew's got an X factor that other people can't match.
Yeah.
How about Chauncey?
Be a good coach.
Chauncey would be a damn good coach. I think Chauncey would be a damn good coach.
I think we're going to be biased though to like guys that are
older guys that
older than us because that's guys that we looked up to, right?
100%. I was going to say the same.
And we weren't there for like
You're right.
A lot of their junior and senior seasons for the guys below us. So we didn't have to see them like up close and personal as they're fully developed. But I think Chauncey could be a good option.
I would agree with that.
Over on the offensive side, Siege is definitely the quarterback coach.
Give me Siege at quarterbacks coach.
Gotta be the quarterback.
No,
no disrespect to Nate Stanley because I know he's coaching quarterbacks right now.
Low-key Uyghurs would be great too.
Uyghurs would be a great one as well. But it would
Siege,
be
right?
Full-blown disrespect to the Golden Goat.
Golden Goat.
The Billy Goat himself, Golden Arm, our Messiah, CJ, the Big Dick Beathard.
Now, Wiseman's going to be my strength and conditioning coach. Obviously.
Has to be.
So he's ineligible to be the running backs coach. Drake, who are you going with the running backs coach?
Akram.
That was probably not gonna be my pick.
Okay. All right. Facts.
Huge rest in peace to Damon Bullock, because he probably would have been my pick.
LaShawn was the first one off the top of my head.
LaShawn would be great.
LaShawn's gonna be the answer for sure.
Yeah.
But Damon Bullock had this certain personality that you just gravitate towards. And I think all of his players would have loved his type of demeanor.
That's facts.
Rest in peace, DB.
Tight ends. What about Doozy?
Doozle, huh?
The old Dusseldorf. I think that's my tight ends choice right there.
Give me Peter Picar. Saw Petey boy at the wedding this weekend, man.
Petey is a treat of a human being, but a tight ends coach, he is not.
Oh man. Okay. How about Hank?
Hank was potentially my pick.
I felt like Hank was like borderline antisocial, doesn't like talking to people.
I know, but I feel like if he was forced to, like if he was in the coaching role, he actually would step up and be pretty damn good.
I think this is the position that is probably the most up for debate.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of options that could be good options.
I don't want the most talented players necessarily, because a lot of times guys who are super talented, when they're asked like, hey, how do you do this? They're just like, I just do it. Like if you ask Noah Fant how to be that good at tight end, he's just like, bro, I'm just faster and stronger than everybody.
Yeah. I mean, again, like you don't have to be a good player to be a good coach. There are different skill sets.
Right.
Completely. Mm-hmm. You don't have to even play the position that you're coaching. Again, Seth Wallace played receiver.
I got one for receiver. What do you guys think about this one?
Shoot.
Jacob Hillier.
I fuck with that pick.
I like that pick.
I fuck with that pick a lot.
Guy that we need to have on the show.
We have.
No.
When?
We have not had Hilly.
Oh man, I've talked to Hilly a decent amount since we've graduated. That just
the reason I say that is because the one thing I remember about Hilly is his blocking. If he did not catch the ball, if it was not thrown to him, guy was downfield hunting heads trying to get his guys open. And of course, there's a whole lot more to receiver coach. You know, you got to be able to run routes. You got to be able to catch the ball. You got to be able to high point, all this different stuff. But Hilly was a high effort guy. I think that would be coaching is a high effort job.
Who's your pick?
I like the Hilly pick, to be honest with you. I feel like Tavon would also be good.
Damn, that was mine.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah, I'd probably lean Tavon.
He's for me by far the most impressive receiver we've played with, both from a physical standpoint and like just kind of the way he was. I thought Tavon would probably be the
carried himself really well. He was a great teammate.
He played a lot of positions. He knew the offense. He was a good dude. He's my pick. Hilly's a great dude too.
Who's your O-line coach? There's a lot of good ones.
I've got two options.
Oh, it's Brett Van Sloten.
Okay, I wasn't thinking about him. That's a phenomenal option.
Far and away, that wins because I forgot about him too. I didn't have a pick yet, but Sloat basically was a coach his senior year.
Very smart dude too. Awesome leader. Like, yeah,
demanded respect. Just the guy that you're like, yeah, I will give a lot of effort and do things right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys you can't go wrong with, but Brett Van Sloten is my pick.
Well, BVS.
Gotta get Brett on the show too.
I would love to talk to him.
Can you imagine him on here going, I was the freaking thing? You know, like he doesn't cuss. Brett, at least he didn't in college. I can't.
He's certainly not cussing now. He wasn't cussing playing Big Ten football. He ain't cussing now.
Can't imagine.
The thing was like he was a nasty son of a bitch in between the lines.
Yeah, he was.
But you walk off the field, nicest guy you'll ever meet.
All right,
he had a switch. He could flip it.
Grant
that's something that's
on the sheet on the side. Add these names: Jacob Hillier, Brett Van Sloten. I don't want to forget those.
Special teams coordinator.
Ron Kaluzzi. Yeah. Special
You know what,
teams
Clue?
court.
Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna give you a feather in your cap here.
It
And
hurts,
say
but
I might pick you because you actually care about special teams more than anybody I've ever met in my life.
the only alternative is Casey Kreider, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go Kreider. It's funny. I was actually approached to be. Well, I've been approached to be a special teams coach for 2 of the Des Moines area teams.
In high school,
Yeah,
they don't pay good enough.
it clearly would not be about the pay. I do think I would be a great special teams coach. You're right. I do care way too much about special teams.
Mhm.
Just kind of had to as part of the gig. There has never once in the 28 and a half years of my life been an ounce of will or want to coach ever.
You'd coach the Hawks. You'd coach the Hawks. You would never say no to that job. You could never even convince me you'd say no to that.
But to be qualified for that position would take years of
Right.
the stuff that I don't want to do.
Right.
But yes, in a magic world where you click a button and they're like, "Hey, Kluver, the job's yours over there in Iowa City to coach the special teams if you want it. Oh, by the way, you're gonna make 300 G's."
And oh, by the way, now the podcast has just full access.
Full, and that would
I'm
be
living in the All-American room.
Yeah, the 3 of us actually just built a new meeting room. It's the walk-on room, and it's also
And it's our
podcast.
studio.
It's our studio, and oops, it's like, where's Kluver?
All the training table.
He's podcasting. Kulik's in there eating all the fucking cookies. From
Yeah. Drake took 3 edibles and he's on his 3rd plate.
That's a really good
Kevin's
question.
Kevin's down in the fucking weight room hauling away 18 core powers.
In the laundry bag.
For that
Oh, yeah.
night.
Oh man. Poor Grant, his internet's been screwing him over again tonight. You guys haven't noticed it, but over in the sidebar chat, he's just been in and out, just popping in, popping out. You would think over there in
At what
Denver,
point are we gonna just have mother and father G-Bone upgrade their internet? We just send them a couple $100 and just say, "Hey, we need you."
Seriously. Fantastic question. Don't know who asked that. Didn't put the question asker on that one. And we didn't get to a couple really good questions that I wanted
Ask
to
one
get
more.
to. This one's got okay, we can answer this quickly. This was from Eric. I kind of wanted this to be a longer answer, but fuck it. We're not going to do a Q&A for a while again, so I'll ask it. Listen to the Pat Anger reboot. I shoved that one out on spring break, I think. That was the one that was top 10 or top 15 or whatever. You guys were talking about chasing that high, like playing in a packed Kinnick, but now post-football career and searching to find your passion. Tyler talked about getting into CrossFit to chase that. Drake talked a little bit more about finding a lady and wanting to get into jiu-jitsu. Fast forward to today, you guys seem to be right where you said you would be. Very goal-driven. Nice work. Do you feel you found your purpose, or still chasing and exploring to find it? Obviously, you haven't and probably won't have another Kinnick high or anything else come close since your playing days.
It's a great question.
I'm gonna guess that getting in a cage fight is gonna give me more of a high than Kinnick could have ever dreamed of.
For you, probably, yeah. For me, that would induce a shit like I've never had. Like Kluver steps in the ring and it looks like he shat his pants.
You got a Code Brown.
I'm probably gonna shit my pants about 15 minutes prior to me walking out. I'm gonna be so sick to my stomach. Yeah.
Little scour hour.
Oh, I'm gonna be so scared, dude. Like, put all the macho bullshit aside. I'm gonna be so scared when it.
I would
comes
say if
down
you
to
weren't,
actually, Go ahead.
If you weren't scared, then something is actually wrong.
Dude, when they lock the door behind me, I know I'm going to have this feeling of like, how the fuck did I find myself here?
It's fight or flight, baby.
Yeah, it is.
That's the.
It sounds
ultimate
like
fear.
all fun and dandy right now.
I watched McGregor Forever today. It was
What'd
good.
you think of it?
It was good. I really enjoy it. First of all, as a dad now, I fucking love watching him be a dad. And he's just in the garage, and his little kid is just swinging away at this little mini bag, and he's like, "Come on, chump! Fuck yeah, chump! Get him! 1, 2, 1, 2!" And he's just like being dad, right? You never get to see Connor be that guy, and I relate to that. A lot of people only see us in podcast form and don't know the three. Like they feel like they know us, right? But they actually have no idea who we are outside of when we turn it on for the podcast. And I feel like I know Connor gets a lot of bad rap for the way he behaves. He's kind of at the end of his career. The way he behaved while he was on top, mouthy, disrespectful. But then you get to see like the soft side of him with his girlfriend and his kids and the people in his camp. So I love seeing that. Then I also, when he loses to Khabib, Habib, you get to see someone who is the best at what they do. He got beat that night, but he is the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Just be absolutely in shambles and just sit there and be like, I don't know. I don't know what fucking happened. Like, I don't know. Like, and you get to see the reality of that. So yeah, good. Liked watching it. Recommend. Anyway, to answer the question, have I found my purpose in life? I don't really know if I subscribe to like a purpose in life. I simply wake up every day and live my life behaviorally, decision-making wise. I just want to be happy. That's all I care about. And usually number one on that is spending time with my wife and now my kid. How can I structure my life career-wise, hobby-wise, family-wise, that I can spend the exact amount of time that I want with my wife and kid, getting to do what I love as a hobby, which does happen to be CrossFit, which doubles as my health, which is pretty cool. And to be honest, working as little as I have to. Sounds bad. Kids from the 1980s would be like, wow, you're soft, this new generation. But I only care about happiness, and work is a means to an end. Making money is simply just to allow me to live, and I work as little as I have to. So yeah, I'd say I've found it. If it is like the life that I want to live, I'm fucking very lucky. Kevin?
Just try to be the best. Try to be the best version of yourself every day. So try to improve yourself physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, as a brother, as a friend, as a fiance, as a son. Just wake up every day just trying to be the best person that you could possibly be.
Drizzy? Is jiu-jitsu it? Is that your passion? I feel like I
like it all.
I'll speak for Drake here. I think a lot of Drake's life since we've left college has simply been, how do I find the quiet? Like what can leave Drake on a day where he's just like, I'm cool with this. Like I'm not fucking pissed or irritated or want to throw something through a wall today. Like, how can I find my zen? And I think jiu-jitsu for you is a large piece of that.
I do a whole lot more than jiu-jitsu these days, boys.
I know. I saw you in the cage throwing punches.
You should have seen how bad I got my ass whooped last night. I crawled off the mat.
Wish I would have.
Like it was ugly. It was bad.
I can't wait till you're on pay-per-view fight, and I'd be like, yes, I will gladly pay $50 to watch Drake get his ass beat.
Yeah. Hey, McGregor in the docu series said winning requires a whole lot of losses before you get there. You need to lose and fail a bunch.
It's true.
That's facts. And most people aren't okay with that. Most people are scared of that. They experience it once or twice. They're like, fuck this. This sucks. I'm out. And that uncomfortability, you kind of, that's, man, I damn near threw up today for my workout. And I had that same thought. I'm like, this is a loss right now. Getting fitter for it. A lot of people don't like to go to that pain cave. It's like, it's going to help me. Same thing with whatever you enjoy in life. If you're chasing something that feels like your passion or whatever, probably going to have to go through some uncomfortability. So
there's a quote out there, forget which philosopher said it, but it was like, if you want to get better at something, you have to be willing to look stupid. Basically the same thing.
I often think about the quote, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. And I don't do very good at that because I really don't. I'm never really in a room with anybody. But in a way, like when it comes to my CrossFit stuff, I only compare scores to people who are 100% better than me. Like I'll beat them 1 out of 10, 15 workouts. Drake trains at a gym where he's got the fucking heavyweight.
I'm actually the worst.
He's the worst one there.
Like,
but when you're the worst, it forces you to either quit or progress at a rate that you can only get when you're the worst one.
They got to take me out of that motherfucker in a body bag, dog. I ain't quitting.
By the way, speaking of that, don't know how we haven't capitalized on this one. The people want body bag shirts, so probably gonna have to get that one cranked out.
Do we put Brutus in it, or do we just?
Maybe I don't. We'd have to.
That's gonna be some copyright issues.
There's gonna be some copyright, but we might be able to find a way around some. Maybe an image that looks similar or something.
Just find a nut. Isn't that what they are?
Nut, yeah, put a nut in there.
Yeah.
I think we put your quote on there too. They came, they came in top 5 in the country and left in body bags. Drake Kulik, and then put like a coffin on the front. I mean, it's a body bag. We need a body bag, something cool like that.
And then people forget that.
People forget that.
People forget that we won 55-24.
We beat their ass. I think that's it. Thanks for the questions. We kind of went longer. I already know what the title about this episode's going to be. It's going to be something about
clickbaity.
Yeah, about Chubbies. Thank you guys for listening. Again, check out the Patreon. Free trial, my friends. You can be a part of the Walk-On Army for 7 days for free. I expect to see a ton of signups. Get your ass on there. Come be a part of the Discord. Join the conversation. We'll talk to you next time. Walk-On's out. Peace.